I next decide to visit Hutt River Principality, an independent sovereign state set up by a farmer to fight against an unfair wheat quota law that would have destroyed his livelihood. I meet the sprightly 91-year-old Prince Leonard, who gives tours to visitors from all over the world. This is his story. After World War II, the Australian government set up the Australian Wheat Board to acquire all wheat produced and then market that wheat overseas. The idea of the board was to stabilise the industry and shelter growers from volatile market fluctuations by offering a guaranteed price. The bumper wheat harvest in 1968 brought about the idea of a wheat quota, restricting the amount of wheat offered to the market so as to reduce the potential of a surplus, which in turn would reduce prices. In 1969, wheat farmer Leonard, who for the previous 20 years produced and sold 6,000 acres of wheat, was given a quota of only 100 acres to sell. He protested the Wheat Board's decision, but to no avail. The wily wheat farmer then hit the books, studying law. He found an international law called Unjust Enrichment Principle and sent a claim of $52 million to the West Australian government, claiming the wheat quota to be unlawful. In return, the government rushed a bill through Parliament which allowed them to forcefully take Casely's land. Casely burnt the midnight oil, poring over various laws. He found that Land Title Act stated no more than 1/20th of anyone's land can be resumed by the sovereign. 15 all.
Just too hot to handle.
The government ignored Casely's rightful understanding of the law and continued to push the new bill through Parliament. Casely was backed into a corner. Everything he'd worked for was about to be taken from under him. He once again hit the law books and found the international law of self-preservation, which gave him the idea of setting up his own government to preserve his lands. On the 21st of April 1970, Hutt River seceded from Australia, using another law Casely had read about, the succession laws of Great Britain. He just had to name his territory, elect a government and adopt a flag, and there was nothing the Australian government could do. 30-15.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Over the years, various governments rained down revenge on Casely, but each time he has outsmarted them with his do-it-yourself understanding of various laws from around the world. Laws of war, the Geneva Convention, and British laws of treason have all been used to keep the government at bay. He has declared a 3-day war with Australia, changed the status of his province from a republic to a principality, and thus becoming a prince, and suffered numerous attacks over the years from the Australian Tax Office. At one stage they garnished half of the funds of his bank accounts, most of which were actually medical reimbursements he had received for being a war veteran. The government ensured there will never be another Prince Leonard, changing land titles to convey property ownership from a real man to a straw man, a fictitious person, someone who does not exist. In this way, they can now take ownership of anyone's land. I wandered through his sacred educational shrine, set up in memory of his wife, Princess Shirley. He mentions finding what he called a sacred site on one of the peaks of the Capricorn Ranges, a remote mountain range in the Pilbara, a crystal pyramid and 3 standing stones. The Aborigines told him they didn't venture into this area due to a lack of food and water. As I rode off, I decided I would visit the Capricorn Ranges and search for the mysterious crystal pyramid.